everyone, and welcome to YouTube Tuesday, session 55 with me, Jessica Brigden of Jess B, Creative Cardiology. Welcome. Happy Tuesday to you. I hope that you are staying cool wherever you are. I know many places throughout the U.S., including here in upstate New York, are experiencing extremely warm weather. We have a heat advisory for today, and it is now in the 90s. So, whew, it's a hot one. Good day to be in your room, crafting, with the air conditioner going. Move a little slower, whatever you need to do to stay cool, absolutely. Well, today I thought we would play with some fun summer florals. So I have this gorgeous background stamp. This is the Daisy Garden background. It is a cling mount and it is large. So this is the F block. This is the largest block that Stampin' Up! Makes, and you'll definitely need that for your Daisy Garden stamp. And we haven't used our watercolor pencils in a long time, so I thought let's pull in our watercolor pencils. We now have 2 sets so that we have lots of colors. We have 23 colors between the 2 packs, and then we'll do a little bit of blending here with our original. These are the blender pens that help to move around the pencil. Hey Rachel, how are you? Thanks for watching. Hey everybody. Yeah, so we're going a little old school today, throwback. We're going to do some coloring. We're going to stay cool. We're going to embrace summer and the sunshine with our daisy cards. And if you check out my blog, jessbcreativecardiology.com, you may have noticed that yesterday, as part of the Stampers Showcase blog hop, I shared this gorgeous card. So I did some more traditional daisies, kind of like a little brown-eyed Susan going on here. And I love this card. So I thought I would change up the color combinations and show you the techniques I used to make this. But today we'll be making some Gerber daisies, hence the pink. I had a pink sweater on when the air conditioner was in full strength, but yeah, I had to take it off. But we're gonna do some pink Gerber daisies, and then I thought we would do some blue chicory, which is something that grows wild along the roads here in upstate New York in the summertime. So a couple of my favorite wildflowers. Hello everyone. Hey Philomena, thank you so much for sharing. Hi Janelle. Yes, Rachel, my room has shrunk. I am in my craft room now, which I am trying to keep as tidy as I can so that I can keep doing my videos back here. And you don't see kind of what's below the table. That's what I still need to pick up before I do my room tour. But that is coming, absolutely. Hi, Sue from Canada, thank you. And David from Hot Cortland. Yeah, my hubby, he was out there taking his walk outside on lunch today. So it's his own fault if he's hot. Walk inside if you have to. All right, so let's get started. Let me flip the camera as I do this. I remind you guys, I can't believe we are wrapping up the month of June here. So I do still have my June host code showing just a little bit here for the next day and a half essentially. But yes, if you'd like to take advantage of the last chance list, because this is the last chance for Stampin' Up's mini catalog. So many of the items, some of them have already sold out, but there are still some fantastic deals on various designer papers and accessories and different stamps, dies, all kinds of cool stuff. So one last chance. After June 30th, these items will no longer be available. So I just put that out there. Hi Marissa from California. Yes, it's been real hot out there too, hasn't it? Oh goodness. Yes, I hope everybody is drinking lots of water, staying hydrated, and doing the best they can to take care of themselves. All right, so the first one we are going to start with here are our Gerber daisy variation. And I like I thought this was kind of fun. So I am using the crumb cake cardstock here as my background, as well as my area that we'll actually be stamping on. And then we're going to accent this with some Flirty Flamingo cardstock here. And then I have my little trinket bag here of the Bumblebee trinkets. If you haven't tried these, they are super cute. They are finally back in stock after they were pretty much unavailable for the month of May, but they're back in stock. So love these Bumblebee trinkets. Those are from the Pansy suite. And then we have this gorgeous Flirty Flamingo gold metallic ribbon. This is from the Sweet Symmetry suite, but it's so pretty. Absolutely. Hi, Karen from Montana. Welcome. All right, so we're going to get right into it. We've got lots of coloring to do today. So if you enjoy coloring, then I hope you will stamp and craft right along with me here. So our card base is crumb cake, 5.5 by 8.5. We will go ahead and fold this. And actually, I don't usually do 2 cards simultaneously, but I'm going to show you, because the first one is Gerber Daisies with Flirty Flamingo. The second one, I'm going to do Blue Chicory, and I'm using Misty Moonlight as my accent here. So both cards are going to be cut and prepped pretty much the same. Your crumb cake card base, 5.5 by 8.5. Fold and score there at the 4.25. Okay, and then don't glue anything else down yet. Just set your card bases aside for now. Hi, Luann. Welcome. All right, you're watching from the living room couch today. All right, and Luann says, since she won't be able to be typing, but her opinion is to use Stella on everything. All right, well, Luann, I have my Wink of Stella. So if we need it, it's handy. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do on our crumb cake stamping layer, this is 3 3/4 by 5. I realized I've got to adjust my camera a little bit so that I'm in focus here. 5 for this layer, and if you've got some scrap paper, go ahead and grab that. Let me see, I've got my little layer of chipboard here. So we'll do one of these at a time, but we are using the entire background stamp here, and this is large, so you want your scrap so that you have something to protect the rest of your work surface. All right, so I am going to be stamping in my early espresso. You could use your Tuxedo Black Memento ink. You could use any of our really any of our ink colors if you wanted to, but I liked the warmth that the early espresso gave this as opposed to just traditionally going with the black here. Make sure you've got all of your little spots fully inked here. All right, that's what I was making sure. And this is a two-hander, so if you want to do it this way, make sure you hold with both hands. I'm just going to kind of center this across the front. You could totally put this on your Stamparatus. That is another thing. I should do that. I've got mine here with my because with the background stamps, sometimes it is harder to get that truly deep impression. See what happened here? You know what? So let's do that. I think I was being a little soft because on the table I have back here in my craft room, it's been known it kind of shakes the camera a little bit. All right, so got a magnet stuck under there. Okay, so I'm gonna try not to hit my camera as I remove my extra plate here. Okay, so I should have just done this anyways. Or the other option is you ink this. So there's a couple ways to do that. Here's one more. I'm gonna fully ink this. We're gonna take our background here, and you could actually put it right onto your, if you don't have a Stamparatus, this is another way to do it. You could actually Just run your bone folder over here to make sure that the ink fully transfers. Okay, and if you do that, yes, that comes out beautifully. All right, so that's one. And then the other one, if you've got a good solid surface, go ahead and ink it up and just press. But if you have a folding table or something that's not quite as sturdy like I do, then go ahead and stick this on your Stamparatus here. Make sure you get this fully inked again. You definitely, with a background like this, want to ink between each use. All right, and then let's just see about where I want to place that. Okay, I'm gonna come over just a little bit and we will just give it a good squish. Okay, and so with that, all right, it's a little bit light in the center. I'm gonna come back in here and just go over that with my fist just a little bit more, just to make sure I get everything that I want on there. Okay, so now we have both pieces. So yes, I did the same for both. I'm gonna set my Stamparatus out of the way here. My desk isn't quite big enough for everything. So I did this with early espresso. And then the next step here is where our colored pencils come in. All right, so I have both assortment 1 and 2. The original assortment here has 13 colors in it. And so I'm going to pull out, for both of these, we're going to use the Old Olive Green. And then for the Gerber Daisies, I'm also going to pull out the Melon Mambo. And for my cornflowers, I'm going to pull out the Pacific Point here. All right, so those are from set 1. And then from assortment 2, we are going to complement that with the Granny Apple Green, the Flirty Flamingo here, and then the balmy blue. I just have to make sure I actually get balmy blue and not the Night of Navy that's in there. Okay, because I want light and dark for both of these. Okay. All right. So what I like to do is very similar to what I do when we're using, oops, I got lots of ink all over me, with the Stampin' Blends alcohol markers, is that I like to go all over with my light color. All right, so just go in. Oh goodness, I'm sorry if this is shaking my camera here, but go all over with your light. So do all of your green. You could work in little bits. I guess everybody has a different way of doing this, but I tend to do all of one color first and then switch my colors. So I'm just doing all of my leaves and my stems and my Granny Apple Green from set 2. All right, this is a pain if this is going to keep shaking here. Okay, and then we'll accent with our darker color. So this means you don't have to be a true artist, especially because we're going to blend these. You don't have to be real specific. You just want to get that color inside the lines. I guess that's the hardest thing, color inside the lines. Okay, so we've got, that's the Old Olive, or excuse me, the Granny Apple Green. And then I do need to sharpen my Old Olive, it looks like. So let me grab my little sharpener. Okay, so I thought I had that here. Yes. All right, so you guys are gonna see this is not anything super technical. Stampin' Up! No longer sells a sharpener. What you need is your cheapest dollar store kids little sharpener. You want something sharp. You do not want to use a mechanical sharpener with your watercolored pencils here because they're very soft. If you use a mechanical sharpener with these, it'll just eat your pencil alive. So you want just a cheap little, just little kid's sharpener. Actually works perfect. All right, so what I'm gonna do with this darker, this is the Old Olive, is I'm going to come through and highlight the veining of the leaves and the stems. Again, nothing real specific, but just kind of highlighting those leaves and stems a little bit. And what's nice is that this will give us that nice blended two-tone look once we run our blender pen over it. So when I'm referring to blender pens, I know that gets a little bit confusing with the terminology because Stampin' Up! Has the Stampin' Blends, which are the alcohol markers, and then we have the blender pens, which are a clear solution that is used for watercoloring, essentially. And even though we don't actually have any water here, they work like magic with our watercolor pencils here, and they give it that blended kind of watercolor look without any of the mess. It's awesome. Okay, so I've got all my greens, so let me show you. I can come in. So you actually get 3 pens here, 3 of the blender pens. They are dual tipped. They're acid-free, xylene-free, just dual brush tip. So it's the same on each end. When you get them, they are all nice and pristine, kind of like your Versamark pad. And then as you use them, they do stain a little bit, but it doesn't affect anything. Actually, you just need a piece of scrap as you transition between colors. So what's cool is, I don't know if you can kind of see just how kind of scribbly and messy my leaves are, but then as we come in with these, it really does transform that. It helps to erase the lines and really gives it a nice blended, fully blended look. So what's happened is that watercolor pencil really kind of dissolves beneath it, and you're left with the color, but you don't have the lines. It really helps to blend it together, which is really cool. All right, so I'm gonna go over and do that on all of these. If you like just the pencil look, you could totally do that. You could color with just your pencils. If you do that, I would say maybe be a little more careful with your attention to detail. But if you're gonna blend it over this, then you can be a little bit messier because the blender pens here help to hide that mess. All right, and it's just, they're really quick because you're just coloring that all around, which is really cool. And then you can always go in, if you want it darker, you can add more pencil and go over it more. You can't really lighten it though. So that is one difference between blender pens and watercoloring versus the Stampin' Blends alcohol markers. With those, you do have a color lifter. Okay, so if you're done with your green, you just scribble that off on your scrap paper there, and then you are ready for your next color. So on this one, because we're doing Gerber daisies, I thought it would be fun, and actually let me pull in, I've got some, I'm gonna use dual colors for the centers on this one. I'm gonna do some Daffodil Delight as well as the Crushed Curry for my Gerber daisies. So I'm gonna use the Daffodil just light here on the centers. Okay. And then what I'll do, I'm gonna sharpen my crushed curry. Okay. And then with this, I'm gonna outline it a little bit, just to add a little bit of depth to it. Okay, so I just kind of circled around the centers there. Now we're gonna use our Flirty Flamingo for our all over coloring on our flower petals here. Again, nothing too specific, just going all over. And I do like the way this looks on the crumb cake. I know that's a little different. You definitely could use, you know, basic white and go with a more neutral background, but something about this, the color of the crumb cake and the way it makes the watercolor pencils stand out, I really like that. Okay, so just all over with our petals here. Anybody else doing some coloring here this afternoon? I know some people it's really relaxing and you can just color even while you're sitting in front of the television or something. But isn't that pretty? It's real light, it's subtle. But yeah, it's got that fun hint of pink there. Hi Nessa, welcome. Oh good, Janelle loves to color. Loves the colored pencils. Philomena loves the blender pens too. So yes, glad that some of you have tried some of these. All right, so then I'm gonna come in. I guess I needed to sharpen my pencils here. Again, if you're just joining, when you're using Stampin' Up's watercolor pencils, just go ahead and use the cheapest little sharpener that you can find. All right, and let's just add in, just highlighting some of those. Now, you could be real specific and trace around each of the petals, but I wanna just add some fun highlights. So I'm kind of just drawing melon mambo lines on my leaves because I want that really just to kind of mix right in. And even like that, it's pretty cool. I don't know if the camera's picking some of that up. All right, so this is pre-blends. Now I'll come in, I can even use that same one because we wiped off the old olive from it. If you want, just give it a test, make sure it runs clear, and then you can come in here and really work that all in together. And you see how that blender pen really erases the harsh line and does exactly that. It blends it right in together. Isn't that cool? I love that. It's so simple. They're so affordable. The blender pens here in their 3-pack. So it's almost like getting 6 in 1 because they are dual tipped. It's only $10. So that's a great deal. And your colored pencils are pretty affordable too. And it's nice. You could start out with 1 pack or 2, whatever you really want to do there. Add to your collection as you get going. If that's the case, I would say start with collection number 1, just because that has the greatest number of colors. That's got 13 in it, whereas set number 2 has 10. These are 10 of the newer colors there, but I do love them both. And like I said, I used both from both packs. I kind of used the light and the dark from each. Okay, so now since we scribbled that off to make sure it runs clear, let's go over just our flower centers a little bit. Okay. And then run it clear again. Okay, so that is the Flirty Flamingo with Melon Mambo, Old Olive, and Granny Apple Green, and then Daffodil and Crushed Curry. So I'll make a list, but these are the colors we just used on this one. So now that we've got that, we are going to adhere this to a layer of Flirty Flamingo that is 4 by 5 1/4. Okay, so the Flirty Flamingo layer is 1/4 of an inch bigger all the way around. Okay. All right, and then we will take some of this gorgeous Flirty Flamingo metallic ribbon. Isn't that pretty? Yes, in other words, they last, Karen. Yes, you are correct, Karen. Karen says she has a set from the 90s. Actually, Karen, I think, I don't know if there's a copyright on here, but I think my original set is not quite from the 90s. It's from the 2000s, but but yes, they do last a long time. It's kind of like the chalk pastels. They disappeared for quite a few years, actually, and then Stampin' Up! Has brought them back. They have updated with the newer colors. But if you have your Stampin' pastels from many years ago, they still work. Yeah, I love that. Okay, so essentially I've cut like 6 inches, 5 1/2, 6 inches of ribbon, just a little bit longer than this 4-inch width of the card that we have here. Tucked my ends behind. You can put a little extra adhesive there if you want to hold it in place, and then grab one of your crumb cake card bases there. And so I love the pop of color that layering that Flirty Flamingo in between gives it. Okay, so we need to be able to add a sentiment and accent this a little bit. So I am pulling in the double oval punch. I'm so glad that this particular punch is carrying over from the mini catalog. Unfortunately, the oval stamp set did not, and I believe in the US that stamp set is now sold out. So if you didn't get it, what were you waiting for? All right, and then our basic white, I actually got punch happy and punched a few extra the last time I was working on a project. So so we just uses the scallop oval out of the Flirty Flamingo and basic white for, what did I say, for the solid oval here. Okay, so we've got that, and we could, I think I'm gonna go ahead and just stamp all our sentiments here with the early espresso. Now, because Daisy Garden is just a large background stamp, there aren't any sentiments with it, but I'm gonna pull in Blossoms in Bloom because I really like that this has a nice thinking of you. It's got a thank you, hello, miss you, all these things that fit nicely in our oval punch. If you have the oval stamp set, you could totally use that too. But I'm gonna pull out my thinking of you here, and we'll put that on my B block. Oops, come on. There we go. Okay. All right, so we'll stamp our sentiment here on our oval. Okay. And then we'll just adhere this. Oh, I must have used a scrap. You can see that I've got little bits of something on the back side of that. That's okay, we all need to use our scraps. We've all got too many of those laying around, right? All right, so let's pull in some dimensionals here. So I realized that this is a pretty, it's not a very large punch, but I do want it to be able to hug the ribbon. If I were just to put it on like this, and then the dimensional stuck to the ribbon, it would move, and I don't like that. So I'm going to put 4 on this little piece, but that way it will not only adhere to the ribbon, but it'll actually adhere to our card base as well, and then it's not going to move around on us. All right, so yes, it's nice and stuck. All right, I'm gonna come in with just a little, slip my Flirty Flamingo metallic ribbon under there for a little knot. I'm gonna keep it simple because the background stamp is so pretty, and that really is our focus there. All right, so a little bit of ribbon. I'm gonna trim this one a bit. Okay, and then to go with that beautiful gold metallic, let's bring in some of our bumblebee trinkets here. So for these, I'm going to use my mini glue dots. All right, so don't pick the dots. You guys know that. Nobody likes boogie fingers. All right, just stick your bee to the dot. Let's go ahead, let's use 3 of them here. Okay, so they're nice and stuck to the dot. Okay, we got the dot on the bee. Let's put one here on our greeting. I love that, isn't that cute? And then depending on how you're stamp this, I'm gonna put one here kind of landing on the petals. And I got a little spot, empty spot there, and then we'll put our 3rd one. Hi Alicia, welcome. Yes, so this background stamp is actually in, this is the Daisy Garden. This is brand new in the annual catalog. This is on page 106. So I'm going to, my bees are flying around the garden there. Okay, so we got this. Let me show you this. This is page 106 in the annual catalog here. Yes, and so this little zoomed in piece here, that's that's the true size, but you will need your large, either use your Stamparatus or use your F block, the largest block that Stampin' Up! Has if you're going to do that. But if you're someone that has trouble gripping large stamps like that, or I know some of you have had carpal tunnel surgery and things like that, maybe your grip isn't as strong as it used to be, the Stamparatus works really nice for that. Okay, so this is the first one. What do you guys think? My Gerber daisies here with the Flirty Flamingo. All right, so we've already stamped, I kind of stamped a slightly different portion of the stamp here for the next one. And we're going to pair that with our Misty Moonlight layer, and I'm gonna do some blue chicory is what we call that here in New York. It's one of those roadside flowers. I guess a lot of people would call it a weed, but I think it's really pretty. I really like, I like wildflowers, so something, I don't know if my mom might be watching, but I guess I get that from her, love of nature. She had wildflowers and daisies and things like that. That was what her wedding bouquet was made of, was wildflowers. So I kind of got that from her when David and I got married. We had an outdoor wedding too. We didn't get married in the woods at my grandparents' like my mom did, but we did get married at a venue outside in a gazebo, and we had, I think I've told you guys this, snowball bush, which is, it's similar. I think it's in the hydrangea family. That is what we had for our centerpieces, and had elements of that in my bouquet. And snowball bush kind of grows some people might have the bushes in their yards, but really they kind of grow wild everywhere, and actually you find them a lot in cemeteries here. So actually we went, okay, so you guys might think I'm weird. I had permission from the family to go to our family cemetery plot, and there was a couple of snowball bushes right there, and we actually trimmed the snowball bush for my wedding, for the bouquet and the centerpieces. So I guess you could say generations of family had a contribution in that. Aw, I don't think anybody minded. All right, so for our blue chicory here, we are going with the Pacific, let me see, I'm going to use Pacific Point from Watercolor pencil set number 1, and we're going to use the Balmy Blue from set number 2. And I think the Balmy Blue should be a little bit lighter, so I'm going to use that as my main color all around here. Yes, I like that. It's almost like a cornflower color, because blue chicory is a real pale blue. A kind of Seaside Spray would be a good color for that, but that's a retired color now, and unfortunately that didn't come in a colored pencil. But this Balmy Blue is really pretty. I like how it's actually just a little bit brighter, so I think that's nice. Okay, and then we've got some up here. Oops, I missed a little bit of the greenery. Okay, so I'm going to come back in here with my Granny Apple Green to touch that up. Okay. Yeah, celebrating, including all in the family celebration. That's right. All right, glad you guys don't think I'm too weird for that. Okay, so now let's come in with our Pacific Point. All right, and we're going to just add a couple of darker accents on some of these petals here. So we have a nice blend of colors when we blend this. But I thought this was fun too, because that way it shows that even though the stamp set is called Daisy Garden, you really can make the flowers any color you want, really. And you know, I think I'm going to go with the Pacific Point here. I'm going to go dark on my flower centers as well. Okay. All right, so now when we come in with our blender pens, and even with the blender pens, because you get 3 to a pack here, you could almost share a set with, you know, get a couple friends if you want to try them out. You could split them with a few others, and that way you'd have lots. All right, I'm going to do the center first, because that's where my darker color is. Okay, and then we'll work out of the center. Just doing lots of fun coloring. So obviously I'm being pretty speedy with this. I know video, not everybody likes to watch somebody color, but some people find it quite relaxing. And it's definitely something you could follow along and do too. So what are some other fun color combinations you guys think you might use on this? I'm thinking it would be fun to do, we've got, let's see, with the pencils here, we've got Calypso Coral. You could do a Calypso Coral, and even a Cajun craze. You could go pumpkin pie with Cajun craze. That would definitely give you some of those darker blooms. I forget what kind of, they're in the daisy family too. Those really pretty dark ones with like the red and orange petals and the bright yellow centers. All right, I kind of lost track of where I did this. Just make sure it's all nice and blended here. If you see lines that are still a little too stark, you can just go back over that. But yeah, and then when you're done, just scribble that off. I think it's fun to do different colors here now and then, get some variety going. Oh, good. Philomena likes the blue chicory too. Yeah, isn't that pretty? It's one of my favorite wildflowers. All right, so we'll adhere this to our Misty Moonlight background. I thought the Misty Moonlight was just a nice shade. It's not too bright, it's not too light. I kind of tied the colors in together, I thought. Okay, so on this, if you have your Misty Moonlight ribbon that retired last catalog, you could use that. What I'm going to do is pull in the Flowers for Every Season combo pack. So I'm going to use this white ribbon here from the center, and then I'm going to accent it with our metallic thread that comes in that too. Okay, so what we'll do first, oh, I actually have a short piece. So I'm gonna go over that, cut that about 5.5, 6 inches here, just long enough to tape to the back. Okay, so do the same thing, just go right across the base of your flowers here and tack that behind. All right, I'm gonna make a little bit extra. Okay, so what I'm gonna do now that I've got that is I'm going to secure this to my crumb cake card base. We'll punch, use again our double oval punch. So I've got a scrap piece of Misty Moonlight here to use for my scalloped oval. I think I must have adhesive sheet on the back of that. Stuck that on my scrap bin there. All right, and then I already have a basic white piece that was punched from here. With this one, I think I am gonna stamp my words in Misty Moonlight, and I probably should clean, you know what, I'm just gonna stamp that off. All right, so we'll stamp. I'm gonna use the same Thinking of You. This is the, I just love that. Can never have too many Thinking of You cards. The Blossoms in Bloom stamp set. That's a returning favorite this year. Okay, right in there, very nice. Adhere this to our scalloped oval. Okay, that's centered on there where I want it. All right, I do want to punch that out, even though I've got a piece of adhesive sheet on there left over from something. I am going to come in with my dimensionals here because I want to pop this up a little bit. So again, putting 4 on here so that I not only adhere to the ribbon, but also to the card base. It makes it more secure. Nobody likes a floppy sentiment on their front of their card. Okay, so this is going right in here. All right, and then I said we'll pull in some of that pretty, I don't know, I don't remember if the Seaside Spray or Misty Moonlight, but it's from the Flowers for Every Season ribbon combo pack here. And I thought that would slip underneath this ribbon nicely. Come on here. There we go. And that I would do a little knot with that here. Kind of gather it a little bit. I'm going to double knot it so that it stays secure. Okay, and then I'm going to trim this off, and then I'm actually going to fray the edges here of it too. That goes with our, we'll have a wild frayed ribbon to go with our wild flowers here. So go ahead, and once you've, that's why you want to tie it nice first, and then you can pull those threads apart there and do the same thing here. Yeah, just pull those threads apart. Okay. That's why it's not quite as formal. And I think we'll do the same thing. We'll come in. You know, I was gonna do gold bees, but I think, let me see here. I think I've got a few ladybugs left. If you have not already gotten your ladybug trinkets from the mini catalog, you have until tomorrow. These ladybug trinkets are half price. I think they're just like $3.75. Yeah, ladybug trinkets are on page 25 of the mini. You get 20 trinkets for $3.75. Fantastic deal. I can't believe they're still available. And then these go on with your glue dots as well. Aren't they cute? Okay, come on, bug. So put these, again, put them wherever you want. Oh, I'm out. I need another one. Let's see here. I thought I had another package. I think I do. I do. Okay. See, you need an extra pack. Everybody needs an extra package for $3.75. I love all these little insect trinkets. So cute. All right. Here we go. Everybody needs little bugs crawling on their flowers. It's better than the gypsy moths or the cicadas. That's for sure. Ooh. This has been quite the year for weird insect takeovers. Absolutely. Well, there you have it, everyone. These are our Daisy Garden cards. Again, Daisy Garden is new in the annual catalog on page 106. Our sentiment is from Blossoms in Bloom. And then we did some Gerber daisies. We did some blue chicory here. Incorporated not only the bumblebee trinkets, but the retiring ladybugs. And then this was my original, which is on the blog, justbecreativecardiology.com. That was my most recent post there with our traditional yellow. Yeah, so I will actually take a picture and post all three of these. Hi, Wendy. I'm glad you were able to jump in. Aw, oh, you had a team meeting. That's awesome. Nice. Yeah, so I hope you enjoy these, and it'll be fun to just keep experimenting with different color combinations that we could do here. Don't limit yourself to just traditional brown-eyed Susans. The other cool thing, let me see if I've got just a bit of, I have a little bit of scrap. Well, you know what? I'm going to scribble on the inside, and then I'll put a layer and insert. The nice thing here is that the crumb cake is dark enough that you could use your white pencil. So if you wanted traditional daisies, you could still use your crumb cake background and color with your white watercolor pencil. All right, so lots of fun stuff there. These are Stampin' Up's sets 1 and 2 of the watercolor pencils. And the blender pens too, so great value there for basic coloring tools that you don't want to miss those. Okay, so your blender pens, here. These are on page 129. All right, so it's hard to see exactly what they are, but they're number 10 on page 129. So a set of 3 for $12 there. And the colored pencils are on page 126. So assortment 1 is 13 pencils for $16, and assortment 2 is 10 pencils for $12.50. So again, very economical for all of those, and you can mix and match and blend and end up with lots of shades of colors there to match everything you need. So thank you guys so much. Happy Tuesday to you. Stay cool, drink lots of water, stay healthy, and happy stamping to you. We will see you in July. Alrighty, take care everyone. Bye-bye.